What is going on, IF Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about signs that intermittent fasting is working. A lot of people want to know, is this doing something for me? Am I doing it right? What am I supposed to know or feel or see? Well, I'm going to go ahead and break it down in this video. Stay tuned. Quickly before we start, this video is brought to you by yours truly, Fledge Fitness and the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. If you haven't gotten yours yet, what are you waiting for? With an ergonomic design, aluminum handle, and swivel design, you can't go wrong with the Fledge Fitness Jump Rope. You can click on the top right-hand corner of this video or down in the description box below. And of course, as always, guys, thank you so much for your support. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So for this one, I'm going to do something interesting. I'm going to use two scientific researchers who are big in the intermittent fasting community, and I'm also going to give my take and what you can expect or what signs you can see if you're doing intermittent fasting correctly. Now, the two scientific researchers that were interviewed by Inverse, and that was Dr. Walter Longo and Dr. Mark Matson. And I've talked about both of them many times on this channel for many years. Dr. Walter Longo has been relentlessly studying and researching intermittent fasting for years. And Dr. Mark Matson has also been studying intermittent fasting and has even collaborated with Dr. Stephen Anton, who I interviewed here on this channel. And Dr. Mark Matson is a neurologist, so he actually looks at intermittent fasting sometimes through a different lens than just the lens of weight loss. But what Dr. Walter Longo stated in his interview is that you will know that intermittent fasting is working for you if you see reduced cholesterol levels, reduced inflammation levels, reduced blood pressure, increase in weight loss, and increase in insulin sensitivity. So those are the signs that he puts up there, which for a lot of these, you would have to get basically get blood work to get a lot of these results. So if you ever go and do your blood work and you notice from the past and you compare and contrast your blood work from before you did intermittent fasting, maybe you can use that as a sign that intermittent fasting is working for you. Now, Dr. Mark Matson's criteria for if intermittent fasting is working for you goes as follows. Reduce blood pressure, just as Walter Longo stated, reduce resting heart rate, increase in insulin sensitivity, reduce fasting glucose, and reduction in abdominal fat and waist size. Now, let's talk about this one real quick. You can't spot reduce, but here's the thing. I've explained this before as well. The body has multiple different fat sources. For example, subcutaneous is right under the skin and visceral is inside the abdominal wall. But the visceral fat does increase your waist size. It does push out your belly and make it so that your belly region is larger. Intermittent fasting has been effective at stuff like white adipose browning, which is turning white fat cells into brown cells and effectively burning brown cells. Now, the majority of visceral fat is brown cells. So it makes sense to connect the two. If you're doing intermittent fasting and visceral fat that's around the organs is primarily brown fat cells, then that will reduce because of the intermittent fasting, which effectively burns it, thus reducing your waist size and abdominal fat. So those are signs based off of those scientific researchers who are heavy in intermittent fasting research. So definitely take their advice. Now I'm going to give you a more easier to kind of gauge advice that you can kind of do at home and don't have to get blood work for. So these are common things that I've seen with even people that have spoken to me and what has been seen in the scientific literature, as well as my own personal experience. I've felt these things as well. So here it is. So if you find your hunger to be reduced. I'm personally at a point where I don't get hungry throughout the day. I can eat the one time. I only really get slightly hungry when I'm about to break my fast, but after that, I don't get hungry anymore. And that's because I've created this new rhythm that my body is used to. It knows when I want to eat, and it doesn't really bother me after or before that. That's what's going to happen to you. For the first 2 weeks or so, you're definitely going to feel hunger as you're kind of snubbing your normal diet protocol of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or whatever your specific thing is. You are no longer doing that. You're moving into something different. So your body's going to fight that initially, especially in the first 2 weeks and a half. But after that, your body is going to be very comfortable with whatever new regimen you have, and because of that, your hunger is actually going to reduce. So with this reduction in hunger, that should tell you that you're doing intermittent fasting correctly, because it is working for you. You're not feeling hunger anymore. Now, if you have little cravings and appetites and you act on those things and it breaks your whole fasting regimen, you're going to bring back the feeling of hunger, and it's going to be much more difficult because you're going to have to try to do it all over again. So if you keep it going, if you keep that rhythm, having that hunger, having that feeling of hunger that you normally had in the past go away simply because of doing intermittent fasting, I would say is the biggest tell that intermittent fasting, or the biggest sign that intermittent fasting is absolutely working for you. And of course, the weight loss. The weight loss comes with everything. Once you start getting into that rhythm, into that flow, you'll start seeing the weight loss coming off as well. Hopefully this video has helped you guys. And of course, as always, I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon. I'm going to go ahead and put their names right up here. And as always, guys, I'll see you on Sunday for another FAQ. Peace!